Hi everyone, welcome to our 19th episode of Brew Talk with Mr.Beer. My name is Robert Lewis, your host for today's show. We appreciate you taking the time to watch us and join us for today. Before we dive into our topic, let's talk about what we're drinking. I have our American Lager Deluxe refill. This is the new version with the double LMEs in it, so it's kind of a little more different. If you haven't brewed them or haven't noticed, we added an extra LME to all of our deluxe refills to make them a true deluxe refill. Makes a big difference in the beer. It is really, really good. So today's topic, let's just dive into it right here. Bottling with different adjuncts. So it's a question that we get a lot, some customer service gets all the time. It's kind of something that we include in some of our recipes also. So it's basically adding different things during bottling time that can impact the flavor of your beer. Some of these can be used in place of like carbonation drops. Others can be used in conjunction with them just to kind of add a different, unique flavor. If you have questions about anything I'm talking about or want to know what other adjuncts you can use that I don't mention, because there are a lot, contact our customer service teams that can actually have a ton of knowledge and they can help you with any questions that you may have along those lines. So the first thing we'll talk about is dextrose. This would be great to use instead of like carbonation drops or like using table sugar. So dextrose is an extremely fermentable sugar. So basically it will help boost the carbonation in your beer and kind of get that really crisp taste out of it. So if you're brewing like a lager and you just want something to add a little different dynamic to it, use that. If you're doing like a brewed IPA, like our Not Plato's Brewed, and you want to carbonate with that instead of using the carbonation drops, I think you'll see a little bit of difference and just that crispness out of those. So it's a minute change, but when we've used it here in the office, it does definitely make that difference. So it's kind of something to always mess around with, which is really cool. When you are using that, you would just use the same amount you would use the same amount of dextrose that you normally would in bottling. So if you're using like 2 teaspoons when you bottle, use that same amount of dextrose, you'll be good to go. The next thing is honey or maple syrup. This is something that you can use to replace the sugar when bottling, and it will also add some flavor to your beer, kind of add some sweetness and kind of some unique flavors. That honey tends to pair best with kind of like the lighter styles of beers that we offer, while maple syrup is kind of more for like those ambers and darker ones, but obviously you can mix and match how you feel best or what you think you might enjoy. It's kind of the fun part of doing all this stuff. So when using honey or maple syrup to the bottle, you want to make sure that you're using a freshly opened bottle. You want to use something that's been sitting around for a long time that can build up stuff in it. So if you are going to brew with that, I recommend just getting like a small bottle of maple syrup or a new small bottle of honey just to make sure that you are safe from anything. And the ratio for honey and maple syrup, or the ratio for honey and maple syrup to the sugar that you normally use is just 1-to-1. So if in our 740 ounce bottles, we use 2 teaspoons of sugar, you use 2 teaspoons of honey or maple syrup. And basically the easiest way to do it is what we found that works in the office is you just add it into the bottle. No need to kind of pasteurize or boil or anything like that. Just dump it on in and you're good to go. We haven't had any issues doing that at all. Another one you can use is vanilla extract. So vanilla extract does contain alcohol in there, so there's no need to kind of sanitize or be worried about any of that stuff. During bottling time, you'll want to add 1 to 2 teaspoons depending on how much flavor you want out of the beer. Always make sure that you're using sanitized spoon and equipment, and for this one you'll still want to add priming sugar or carbonation drops, as it will not create carbonation in your beer, but it will add some cool flavors. So if you're brewing like a cool stout or a porter, want to add that vanilla flavor, add a little bit to your bottle. I think it will make all the difference in the world. All right, coffee. So we have a few recipes that call for adding coffee or espresso when bottling. This mixture, I would do the same thing that you do with the vanilla, basically 1 to 2 teaspoons depending on how strong you want the coffee flavor. If you're using espresso, you want to make sure that it's at least room temperature. You want to put hot espresso in your bottles. It's not good for plastic in general. If you're using glass, I still wouldn't do it. Just use room temp espresso. And then you can also use cold brew coffee concentrate as well to get kind of those coffee notes out of your beer. Obviously this works great for like stouts, porters, imperial stouts, all those fun things, just kind of dark beers in general. We do recommend though, out of the two, if you want to get like just a better coffee flavor, use the cold brew concentrate, as it's kind of just more smoother and tends to pair better with beer. And sometimes from those, espresso, you get some of those kind of weird bitters you get from coffee sometimes. So I would do the cold brew if you're gonna pick one of those two. It's kind of a unique thing to do, especially with winter coming up. So like brew an imperial stout now and drink it for Christmas, bottle with a little bit of coffee, you're gonna be good to go. The other one you can use is whiskey if you want to get really crazy with it. So basically you want to add a shot or less to each bottle depending on how strong you want the flavors. You do want to be careful as adding too much booze in your bottle can kill the yeast and it wouldn't be able to carbonate your beer, which is not a good thing. So when adding, high octane liquor and stuff like that to your bottles, just make sure you're adding, just no more than a shot. You'll be good to go. But it kind of makes a huge difference. I know we have some of our recipes like the breakfast stout that has you, dump it in the fermenter, but if you want to try and change it up a little bit, maybe dump some in the bottle along with it and just see if you really want kind of that like whiskey, oaky barrel flavor. It's wild. Another one you can use is Monin Flavour Syrup. So this comes in kind of a ton of different flavors. It's not something that we offer, that we sell. It can be found on Amazon. They have a sugar-free and a sugar-sweetened ones. If you're using the sugar-free styles, you will still need to add your priming sugar because there's nothing in there for the yeast to create the CO2. If you're using just the regular sugar-sweetened ones, then you don't need to add it. The ratio for kind of using that, if you're using the ones that have sugar in them, will be 1-to-1, just like with the honey and the maple syrup. You just add it to your bottle, fill your bottle up with beer, and then you're good to go. These have a ton of flavors, ton of styles. Zach and Ashley were talking about them. They think that they work really good. Just kind of add some unique flavors to your beer that you normally can't get out of things, and it makes the process super, super simple when doing that. So these are just a few of the adjuncts that we wanted to talk about today that you can add during bottling time to kind of get some cool flavors out of your beer. Depending on how much you add, that will impact that particular flavor in the finished beer. So the more volume, the more flavor you'll get, but you want to be careful not to overdo it because it obviously can ruin your beer. If you underdo it, you might not get it. So it's kind of just finding that middle ground, just making sure everything is also sanitized before you do it. If you have any questions about this topic, just comment on the post and we'll get back in touch with you, or you can email Zach and Ashley at customerservice@mr.com. You can go in our live chat in the Facebook group, post some questions, just get your questions answered. Kind of a cool thing to do if you want to change up your bottling or bottle half with the flavor of one and half with the flavor of another and compare the difference. I think that's a fun part about home brewing, is just comparing all the different styles and seeing what you want to do and how it can impact one thing over the other depending on what you change. So that's going to wrap it up for today. We appreciate the time to watch the video. Hope you learned something. We do post our videos on our blog page, mrbeer.com/blog. You can also get them on our YouTube page and on our Facebook page and on our Instagram page. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up or a comment or a share or whatever, just so we know that we're making good videos and that you enjoy watching the videos. Also, if you want to learn more about Mr. Beer or just brewing with Mr. Beer in general, join our Facebook group, Mr. Beer's Brewing Society. That can be found by searching Mr. Beer's Brewing Society on Facebook or going to our Facebook page, join the groups, clicking on that and click join. We do ask that you answer 3 questions before you join. Please answer the questions or we won't let you in. There's a ton of great stuff on there. It's a great group to just be a part of and hang out in. So if you're looking for, to take your hobby to the next level and want to learn more, it's definitely the place to do it. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.